Hey guys, and welcome back to the Neon Arcade. In today's video, we're going to be going over all the juicy details of the Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay demo shown at E3. This gameplay demo was exclusive to big media outlets and journalists, and the public hasn't seen it yet. Whilst this is a bit disappointing from a consumer point of view, we still have a couple of very in-depth articles explaining a specific mission in the early game. Let's go over what was talked about in these articles and get to know a little bit more about the world, characters, and weapons of Night City. I'll keep the articles in the description for you guys, as each of them have little interesting details that the others don't. So right off the bat, the gameplay demo starts off with a character creation screen. Here you can choose a male or female version of the main character in Cyberpunk, V, who is essentially a futuristic mercenary for hire. You get to choose details about V, like his or her background, key life events, and what kind of class you want to play in the game. The classes are a base point due to the fact that as you progress through the game, you will be blending all these classes together in varying degrees based on which skills and skill trees are more important to you. The classes so far are Netrunner, Techie, and Solo. Netrunners can be seen in the 2018 reveal trailer that are plugged into the machinery. You also get to distribute some skill points into 6 character stats like strength, intelligence, reflexes, tech, constitution, and my personal favorite, cool. Now before we continue, I know a lot of people have been up in arms about the fact that there is no third-person perspective, but CD Projekt Red actually has a very good reason for this. Night City, which is the fictional world that Cyberpunk takes place in, has much more verticality than previous games, and this is one of the main reasons, along with increased immersion, that they decided to go with the first-person perspective in Cyberpunk 2077. Now after you've set up your character, you're dropped into a scenario where you're alongside a friend called Jackie Wells and a Netrunner class character called T-Buck, and your job is to find a missing person. This missing person has been kidnapped by a group called the Scavengers to have their implants, which are technological cyborg-esque adaptations you can equip to your character for a little extra cash. Cash in Cyberpunk 2077 is called eddies. There are a ton of cool new features and abilities that come tied with your character, such as bullet time, which is a Matrix-esque slow motion ability, and a more traditional run and slide. Boosters are also available, which are essentially augmentation drugs taken from an inhaler which will grant you additional speed or skills. You eventually track down the kidnapped woman who's passed out in the bathtub, and your crew radios in for a trauma team, which is essentially a high-end, super efficient EMT crew to resuscitate her. After this brief section, you're transported back to the place where you live, which is an apartment. Your apartment acts as your home base and houses your closet, which has all the clothing you've gathered from missions and quests in the game. These articles of clothing give you boosts in the real world, such as street cred, which is used to progress and take on increasingly harder challenges in the game. There are weaponsmiths and vendors on the streets, as well as Ripper Doctors, which let you augment your body to become increasingly more cyborg. Some of these augmentations, however, are via illegal Ripper Doctors, which lead me to believe that they have tech that is more powerful and rare than the sanctioned doctors. After rescuing the woman, the demo shows another mission where V is invited to a meeting with Dexter Deshawn, who is a big-time mercenary recruit. He offers V a job of retrieving a futuristic weapon that looks like a robotic spider in exchange for a permanent position for more missions in the future. There are always a couple different ways to go about missions, and there have been some varied ways the demo has played out to different media outlets. For the most part though, it leads V to getting an augmentation via a Ripper Doctor, attempting to drive to the location before an epic mobile car shootout, and then ending up at the location where the robotic spider is. This spider is being held by one of the groups in Night City called the Maelstrom. You end up buying the spider bot back with a corrupt data chip of some sort, which leads you into the realization you've been double-crossed and ends up frying the Maelstrom's heavily teched out bunker. A fight then breaks out amongst your allies and heavily fortified enemies. This encounter leads to you either taking a stealth approach or a guns blazing approach, although both are violent and utilize some of the cool weapons and tech, like a blunderbuss shotgun which can penetrate cover, or the mantis blade arms which let you wall run or lobotomize unsuspecting enemies. The weapons come distinguished with different rarities via color, with uncommon stuff being green and epic weapons being purple. There is a mini boss battle at the end with the higher up entering an exoskeleton. The exoskeleton has to be shot at or meleeed only during times of vulnerability to be defeated. That essentially wrapped up the around 45-minute demonstration, and although we didn't get to see any gameplay, the descriptions given to us via the various articles have really given us a better feel of the scope and tech concepts at work in Cyberpunk 2077. I cannot wait to play this game. So what are you guys looking forward to in Cyberpunk? Is it the weapons and augmentations? Is it the character customization, boss battles, or the storyline? Let me know in the comments below and subscribe for more Cyberpunk 2077.